All right, so Dr. Paul, take it away.
Great. Well, thank you, Francis. Thank you, everybody, for joining in, and thank you, Mary, for giving us your time today. I know you've got another appointment on the back of this one, so we will try to streamline this and make sure it all goes to time. So, look, I just want to invite you, Mary, to tell us a bit about your entrepreneurial journey. In case people didn't read about it already, but if we go back to when you were 27, and yeah, tell us. 5 minutes.
Okay, good afternoon. Oh no, it's good morning. Good morning, everyone. Nice to be here to share my small business story to inspire all of you small business owners. So my story first began at 27. I am 65, so it's a long time ago. 27, where I was invited to be a part owner of a business called Gunnett Sweats, and what we did, we manufactured and designed tracksuits. So the product was almost like a Benetton country road type of look. It was all color and very classical. So I was invited to join the business as a partner and grow the business basically. So I joined it in at $20,000 turnover, small business operating in Abbotsford, Melbourne, and we had people sewing the product, and my job was to take it and get the product out there. So like anyone in business, when we first start, we've got to start with little steps. So as it was tracksuits, I targeted gym goers. So I targeted all the gyms, and we got the brand out there. So once you build the brand, then, you know, obviously the dream was to get into retail. So a couple of years went by, we were building up gyms around Melbourne, and people were buying them from, you know, the gym owners were buying them from us, and then they were selling it to their members. So in year 3, 4 of the business, we had a call from David Jones and the men's department, and David Jones wanted our product. Oh, we're so excited. And so from then it all snowballed. So then David Jones, George's, the ladies department, the women's department, and then before you knew it, within 8 years, I had grown it Australia-wide and imported into New Zealand. So, and we reached a turnover of 1.5. So now that was through very hard work, dedication, sticking to our quality and our pricing structure. Of course, there were challenges. You know, challenges is what defines business owners. I had 2 young children and also married, and still married, I like to say, to the same person. And in 1990, so we're Australia-wide, we had staff of 10 people. In 1990, we had the recession. 2 of the directors had separated. 2 of my main girls went off and had children. So I was putting out fires. So we got to reach our turnover for the winter period of 700. I remember this figure. It's funny what you remember all these years ago. I remember reaching our sales figure of $750,000 for the winter. One of the directors and 2 of the partners were married. So one of the partners fell into depression. So she wasn't, because her husband left her. Fun and games. And so therefore I was working 17-hour days trying to manage production and design, finding another designer to help in the design team to deliver our product into retail Australia-wide and New Zealand. Now you can imagine the mammoth job that was. So our monthly sales were in the vicinity of, you know, over $100,000. So, you know, what do you do when your business suddenly reaches that large turnover and you've got a lot of internal problems? You know, directors have split up. Your staff have gone off and had children. People don't turn up at the job. You know, this is what happens when you run a small business and you're growing. So I put on a designer at the time. We were paying her $50 an hour. That was at, what, 40 years ago, guys? Do the maths. I don't know, but that was a lot of money. And so therefore, we also won a government grant to boost our marketing strategies. And this marketing company had decided that we were going to compete with Nike and Reebok. So then all of a sudden, our family business was, you know, we had pretty reasonable margins. Our family business was also now competing on the world stage with Nike and Reebok. And so these people who I listened to with great reluctance was telling me that we had to price our product in amongst the Nike and the Reebok brand, which are international brands. So what happens? Well, the first few months we traded, we get to May, we listen to these consultants, and I would always say to you, don't always listen to people that are telling you what to do in your own business, because you've got to really feel your own market and understand where you are in that particular point in time. So as vulnerable as I had young children, I was working crazy hours, you make decisions that you're not really clear upon. And so come May of that financial year, 1990, that financial year, I found myself, we're 250,000 down in our gross profit. So we're basically, we were not able to trade. So just quickly, what happened, which I was distraught at this point, because I loved what I did. I loved the business. I worked hard. My husband supported me. It was just full on. And so then we took action. I then took on the stuff that the liquidator had shared with me, and we had to liquidate the company. So at that point, we had positioned ourselves in head office in Abbotsford, which is a premium property that we secured with our own savings and can do to have an asset. And next to Country Road, actually in Melbourne, if for those who live in Melbourne, you'll know where that is, in Abbotsford, Collingwood. We bought that premises. My husband did the outfit. I saved all the cash money that we got from sales, and we built a head office after 8 years. And I was very excited and very proud of our achievement. And then we went into liquidation. So I then rang our creditors and told them of our situation. I'm a very integral person, upfront, don't shy away from anything. I told our creditors what had happened. They were very supportive. So I began the task of, first of all, ringing our creditors, collecting all our debtors that were outstanding, which was about 100K at the time, and dispersed all my staff with all their entitlements. Then I began the liquidation, so all that had to be sold. So the other director went off and got another job and left me there on my own, which was not nice. So I was dealing with this on my own, and I can tell you, from that time, it builds some very strong character. Believe me, I'm a very tough cookie. So after dealing with all that, I had to sell our premises. I sold our car. I bought it back from the liquidators. And instead of paying 80 grand to the liquidator, I then paid only 16,000, because I controlled and took control of how our business was going to end up. So I sold all my patterns and equipment to another Vietnamese manufacturer, bought everything, sold everything to him. We sold everything, we finished up, sold everything. And then I had 4 months off and thought, wow. Took some time off and then started again, believe it or not. I think that's more than 5 minutes, Paul.
No, it almost seems like yesterday the way you tell that story. Now look,
well, it's pretty intense at the time, but you know, there are lessons that you learn, and you know, from not having the right tools in your business, from a profit and loss, and having the right people give you the information is crucial. Hence, 40 years later, this is why I wrote the book, you know, 3 years ago, because a lot of people in business, and we were a small business, we were turning over $1 million, 1.5. You know, I was pretty hands-on with sales, because my focus was sales. And then, of course, sorting out the problems. So, but whilst a business owner is putting out so many fires, we forget about the fine line, and it's too late.
So, but you went on to start another very successful business, didn't you?
I did, through the determination of making it happen and making it work. And that was very successful. I did that for 25 years.
And that was about 1.5 million turnover a year, was it?
That was about $1 million on my own without employing any staff. So
Wow.
I made that on my own. And the only person I employed was a bookkeeper 3 days a week who controlled all my figures, did all my templates, was IT, and employed my husband when I doubled my turnover, because we weren't about to lose any more money or any more assets.
So my question to you is, what's the one thing you wish your 27-year-old self had known when starting that first business?
Don't go in business with family. And don't go into business with people that don't share your same energy, vitality, and are on the same page for the dream that you both share.
That's great. Look, what I want to do is just run through a few things that I want you to talk about. So in your book, you talk about cash flow, and you have this nice little tip that says, sales equals vanity, profit equals sanity, but cash flow equals reality. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so if we're in business, we need to have sales. If we don't focus on sales, prospecting, cold calling, okay, we're in this digital world now of social media. How do we navigate that? How do you really get sales? But we need to be constantly focusing on sales and sales planning. You know, what does your business look like? Not only today, what does it look like in 3 months' time? Where are you going to get those sales? Now, so then you've got the sales planning. Now, cash flow is another thing again. Now, you can go in somewhere and you can see a store. Let's look at a brick and mortar store, because everyone goes to a shop, right? You look into a store and it's full of stock, right? Full of stock. Now, you don't know how much stock you're selling. You don't know, and you need to know how much stock you're selling. You need to know what is the margin on that stock, because you could have all that stock, but you probably owe, 80, 100 grand to creditors. So if we're not selling that stock, we're not producing the cash in the business to keep the cogs in the business working. So we need gross profit and we need net profit. And the net profit, now the gross profit is a combination of all your costs and expenses, whether it's cost of goods, which is if you have product, or just expenses if you're a service industry. You need to have profit. So if you're selling a product that costs you say $10, that you buy at $10, what are you selling it for? Do you include all those costs in there? Now, don't forget, freight is a killer. Nowadays we're doing online and freight is extra. Have you built in that freight component? Are you incurring that freight component? Remember, a freight cost is incurred in the business, and if we don't watch that, that can really be exorbitant expense to the business owner.
Look,
now,
we might move on to the next question, because I think you've made a good point there. Because this is a really important one that you make. All business owners should be paying themselves a fair and reasonable wage.
Okay, well, this is a bugbear of mine, bugbear. Now, I'll share with you quickly. I finished up my business. I sold it off to a company, and I didn't want to do it anymore after 25 years of the second business. So I was 57, and I wanted to experience what it's like to work for someone else, because I've never worked for anybody, and I needed another challenge. So I went into a company who did what I did in my own business. It was an embroidered me franchise. So I went into her as a salesperson. Now, she's had this business for 15, 20 years, this woman. I went into that business as a salesperson. And as I was in that business, I had found that she wasn't paying her wage after all these years. And I was asking her questions. I was doing sales, but I couldn't help but look at, there were holes in the business. You know, it doesn't take long for you to know. You know, I was sitting opposite the owner and I'm asking her, you know, do you have a profit and loss report? Oh, what's that? Do you have a bookkeeper? Oh, no, not really. You know, and I started, you know, and I could see that she wasn't going very well. So I sort of offered my services as part of my sales role to help her, because I felt genuinely, you know, this woman worked really hard and I just couldn't help but offer my services to share my knowledge to help her. So we quickly, through her, okay for me to help her, of course. Why wouldn't you take anyone's help for free, you know? So I quickly got a bookkeeper for her and we printed off a profit and loss, and I could see that she was paying all these exorbitant costs to other coaches that she wasn't engaged with. She wasn't paying herself an income. You know, she was paying herself her rent, or she was paying herself her housing expenses, but she wasn't paying her wage. And she says, oh, no, I don't need to pay myself. I'll just pay everybody else. I says, no, you need to pay yourself an income. Whether it's $500, you've got to pay yourself an income. And then whatever's at the end, you've got to take yourself a profit as well, because you've got to reinvest that business, that money back into your business, into growth, into expansion, into more innovative ideas for you to continue your business. So Paul, so she wasn't paying herself a wage, and you know, I did encourage her, but it was a mindset. She just didn't want to do that. She took things on board as far as the bookkeeper. I've turned it around and increased her sales, and I taught her some things about how to watch out for you know, costs, exorbitant costs, and to keep an eye on margins, and to keep increasing sales. So I did teach her some skills over the 12 months. And then that relationship didn't continue anymore. Actually, I was poached by one of their clients to do another job. So,
well, there you go. And look, I might jump down to one of my later questions, but it's a good opportunity to talk about it now. So it's about to do with these limiting beliefs about money. So what are the limiting beliefs about money that you see people have, and how can we change our mindset, because that's what you've mentioned, about money?
Okay, so look, now this is a personal area and everyone will have different money beliefs. So, you know, we're all being raised by our parents, and some come from many different backgrounds. So Paul, it'll be like, money's the root of all evil. You know, you're bad if you love money. You know, only rich people have money. No. And I find particularly women, and I've experienced this because I'm a niece mentor, and over the 12 years, I have mentored a lot of women in business, whether they're service or product, that they found it very hard to put a price on their product or their service. So look, it's just about loving money. Money is energy that we all need to it circulates. You know, we have a product or a service, charge it, because people want what you have, and there's nothing wrong with charging what you have. You know, you've got to work on yourself on that. It's probably a layer after layer, Paul. And you know, NLP is a tool that people can look into to help shift those mindset beliefs, but it's on every person's journey. You know, from, you know, you've got 44 participants attending here today. One person is going to differ from the other. So you have to really look inside yourself and go back to those beginnings of your home life and identify where these come from. You know, did your father say to you, you don't deserve to earn money? You know, no, you just stay home and work. You know, where do those beliefs come from? No, we're adults today and we choose our destiny. We have choices as an adult as to where we need for our lives to go. So if your dream is to own your own home, if your dream is to, you know, travel, if your dream is for anything, you need to have a well-secured job or a well-secured business. And if we need to take each step one step at a time, achieve that step to achieve those goals, because they don't magically appear. Trust me, I have worked through all this myself, and it's taken me one step at a time to achieve where I am right today. I actually wrote the book when I fell off the ladder. So, you know,
literally fell off the ladder.
I literally fell off a ladder, and I wrote that book, and I took advantage of that situation. So, guys, I hear you. I've walked that whole step that you're about to walk on. I've walked through that step. At 65, I'm still walking through these steps, because my next journey is to be a speaker. You know, so this is my third and final journey now to take me into old age, that I want to share and inspire you as business owners to be courageous and to take those challenges on if you have a big picture for your life. And that's all it takes, is little steps, and support yourselves with people that believe in you and what you want to do.
Well, look, another thing you mentioned in your book is this book, which you can win a copy of today. So stay tuned. So you talk about limited resources, time, money, people, and you say, you write, say it aloud, I love limited resources.
Yeah.
Please explain.
Okay, so look, obviously we can't do everything in our own business. Entrepreneurs generally, I'm an entrepreneur, so generally I will spend money to make money, right? I will find a way to get the tool right. So if I need a social media person now, because at 65, I don't particularly like going on LinkedIn and all those places. So I employ someone to do that, right? Now she costs me $100 a week. So what do? I go and get a part-time job to support that. So guys, you know, we have to spend money to get our businesses going. If you're creative and you've got the ideas and you can't get the bookkeeping sorted, bookkeepers cost $60, you know, $45 an hour. Find other people as contractors to help you where you need to be. You don't have to spend a lot of money nor a lot of time. Just produce the tools that give you an oversight of your business. So if a bookkeeper comes in, she will do all your input of all your data, your receipts, your creditors, if you have products and you've got many creditors or all that. They'll provide you with a profit and loss report, and that profit and loss report can, even if it's done by monthly, like every couple of months, as long as you're achieving this, then you can manage to see where you're heading in your business, because it'll give you a year to date of your sales, of what you're getting. It'll list down all your costs, and it'll show you the gross profit on the bottom. So get her to indicate what the gross, bookkeepers can show the gross profit. They can put that into the system, and they can show you that your gross profit, if it's sitting between 35 and 40, you're good. If it's sitting on 10 and 12, you're not good, right? So you're not making money. You need more sales, or you need to increase the margin of the product or the service so you can keep growing. So very important. But whatever you need in your business, don't do it all on your own. Reach out, and there are people out there that can do those tasks, and you just have to get 3 quotes and make sure they tick your value area. Like, you know, make sure they follow through on the task, make sure that they're professional in their field. Don't go with any cowboys. Don't go. There's plenty of people out there that say what they do, but you need to research. And nowadays it's about review, but research. And what I used to do is, you know, like the old days, is talk within my network, you know, speak to my suppliers, you know, who do you recommend for this? Who do you recommend for that? So depending where you're established in your business, you're probably all startups. Yeah, but these are tools that you can work through as you grow. But it's very important to have these foundations now and not wait until you're year 5 or year 7, and then all of a sudden you've wasted all those 7 years and you haven't got those right tools in place, because these are business foundations, and that's what I'm passionate about, is laying those foundations to help you start on your journey to be successful.
Great, thanks, Mary. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is sort of 3 things. Confidence. You're a very confident person, but there must have been moments of self-doubt. So if we can talk about confidence and self-doubt, talk about getting clients, and talk about networking.
Okay. Yes, I am a very confident person. When I know, I'm driven through responsibility. So if I have a big business and I have a family and I have creditors and I have a bank overdraft or whatever, I'm driven through responsibility, because that's my integrity, you know. So at a time when things were really tough, of course your confidence drops, but I always looked at what the outcome needed to be, and I would just push through it. And that's where my 5 Ps would come in: the perseverance and proactive. My character and my determinants was pretty strong, that I actually did the right thing for everybody under my brand, basically. What was the next one, Paul? I had to. Oh, you're not me. I can't hear you. No, still can't hear you.
Networking. The importance of networking. How has it helped you? And what skills should a person have? You know, walk into a room of complete strangers.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, guys, in my business life of 30 years, there was no networking, right? Let's be clear, no networking. I think the last 10 years we've had networking. What I used to do, I was cold calling. So I picked up work from referral business, cold calling, prospecting, and attending trade shows and where people would gather, where they would buy my product, right? So in my later years, when networking for the last 10 years, networking. So if you're a small business owner and you're on your own, networking is crucial. So I belong to a BNI group. So BNI is a place where a lot of small business owners gather, and BNI is a place where only one individual business is only accepted there. So you know, if you're a graphic designer or if you're selling makeup or whatever, when you go to this network event, you are not going to be challenged by 3-4 competitors. You will only be there on your own. Now, these are the most profitable platforms, but they do cost to get in. I mean, they charge you. It's probably about $3,000 a year, but you meet weekly, and it's either face to face or over there. It was Zoom in the last couple of years. Now, I attended that for 12 months, so it was very good. Now, it's a place where all people gather. So now I'm an extrovert, as you can gather, right? So if you're a little bit quieter, you can still gather and you can still say hello to people, and they'll ask you questions. People at BNI are very warm towards visitors. They will engage with you, so you'll never feel like you're walking in and feeling strange, but you need to have courage, once again, courage to step outside your comfort zone to walk into these places. And they're going to ask you, oh, hi, Paul, what do you do? And what do you do? And, you know, and how long have you been in business? And it's just a general chit chat, guys. It's nothing bad. It's just people talking to people. So that is where I recommend you network. There are others. There's Fresh Networking, which is cheaper. I belong to another network group now, which is VIP Business Network, which is privately owned, and that's quite good too. That's a lot cheaper too. But have the confidence. It's okay. People are not going to, you know, you're just a person. We're all people, and you're just going to walk in, you're going to smile, hi, talk to people. It's no different than, you know, walking down the street. I don't know, but I walk down the street and say hello to everybody. So, you know, but you need to have confidence. If you're going to be a small business owner, you need to sell what you have, guys. Be clear about that. If you're going into business, you need to be gutsy and you need to be ballsy if you want this business to provide you a freedom of choice, lifestyle, and income. So just think outside your comfort zone. It's okay. I always used to say, well, I'm not going to die doing this, so it's okay. You know, so challenge yourself, little steps, and you'll get there. But networking is very important if you work on your own. And that's where you'll find bookkeepers, you will find graphic designers, you will find social media people, you will find an accountant. You will build rapport and you will trust the people within your group. And that becomes your business network. And they're the people that will support you.
Yes, that's great. Look, while we're on that topic, let's talk about branding. So you write in your book, you will always be defined by how others perceive you. And I guess if that goes for your product or your service or your appearance or whatever else. So tell us a bit more about how can we best build a brand, well, create a brand, and then make the most of that.
And you know what, Paul? It's not just those things about the brand. It's not just about me wearing red or, you know, me representing the colors out of my book. It's not just about that. People forget about brand. It's really how you conduct your business, conduct yourself in the business, because that's the brand, right? How did I grow from 10,000 sales with one client and built to 300,000, right? Because the brand that we work with in ourselves is delivery of solutions. That is part of the brand. That's how I define brand, right? Not only that Coca-Cola and Nike have their visual brand, right? But it's within the business how they deliver their product to their clients, that they follow their values and they follow their customer service steps and all those things. Because without you've got a visual concept of brand, which is wear the right colors. If you're a tradesperson, you're going to wear a polo shirt, because all that's about professionalism. All that is about professionalism. And when the customer sees you, they can see and say, oh, this guy's professional. He's got a cap on, he's got a polo shirt on. Or, you know, you're in business and you're providing a branded pen or a branded Sarina Russo. You've got your banners out there. You will have compendiums. You would have notepads with Sarina Russo on there, because that's the perception of the business now. And that's the perception that we need to put out there. When I was in my business, I had everything about brand. So when you attend an exhibition or a trade show, okay, it was a trade show back in the days, right? And we call it a workshop now. Everything was about brand. So all the brand that would appear on your visual marketing is the same. All the messages that you deliver, all the communication that you have with your customers and your suppliers, that's on brand. The way you conduct your business is brand. You know, so all that is important, because we can't keep growing our clients without how we deliver ourselves, which is brand, and how we deliver our services to our clients. That's all on brand.
Great advice, Mary. Now, one of your chapters is called How to Become a Rainmaker. Well, we don't necessarily need more rain at the moment, but what is a rainmaker?
Okay, when I wrote my book, and I didn't know this because I'm an entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneur from the western suburbs, right? And when I wrote my book, and my coach was helping me become an expert in this field, so I needed assistance, and I explained how I did my business, how I grew, you know, 10, 12 customers from 20,000 to 300,000 annually for each of them. She says to me, Mary, you're a rainmaker. Oh, am I? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, I didn't know I was a rainmaker, right? But she explained to me, I'm a rainmaker because I have the ability to walk up to people, knock on their door, introduce myself, give them a card or a catalogue or whatever I had to sell, or a product or a service, and say, this is what I can do. And I'd go across to one business to another, And then finally, I would land a client, and then I would do their job, and then I would follow through. It's a small job. I would follow through, and I would give advice. And I'd give advice because people would ring me from my previous life, because it's the second business, Paul, right? People would ring me and would want because I was integral and I had a very good quality, other customers who moved on would come back to me and say, Mary, you know, particularly as Rock Resort, they would say to me, Mary, I've got a t-shirt that I'm buying from someone else and I'm paying this price. Can you tell me if I'm paying too much? So because of my honesty and integrity and the ability to be open about a conversation, I would say to her, you know, you're paying too much. It's not what they say it is because it's not the right quality. You're getting ripped off. And so months later, I would get that job and it'll be starting off small. And before you know it, I'm running, you know, merchandise for Ayers Rock Resort through all their retail outlets, turning over $300,000 every couple of years. And I had that ability to be honest and give the person the right product. You know, so a rainmaker is the ability to sell anything to anybody and pull through.
Yep, great. And
now, hang on, Paul.
Yep.
Now, a lot of business owners might not have that strength. I was lucky enough because I had the ability to sell and I had the ability to run a business. Not all business owners have the sales strength. So be very careful how you conduct this because you can't employ people in sales, you know. So as a small business owner, you need to really find the courage to find the way how you're going to reach out to these customers and get sales.
so I guess it comes back to taking a risk.
Yes. Everything in business, everything we do is, if we want to change our lives, if we want to step from earning $500 a week to $2,000 a week, or if we want to grow from, you know, 10,000 turnover to 100,000 turnover, or 100,000 turnover to 250,000 turnover, everything in business is a risk, Paul. But if you don't know, you're never going to try it. So it's best to try it and have the knowledge and the know-how to learn and to take those steps and learn as you go. You'll fall over, but you can get guidance too.
Now, another important part of your book is the that decision-making, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, important, not important, urgent, not urgent.
Yeah.
What I might do, just can you talk about that? I'm going to put it up on the screen for a moment, but you just talk about it.
Okay, so when we're in business, time management is really crucial. So don't sweat on the small stuff, you know. How can I say it now? Because, you know, work out what's important in your business. So when I was in my business, the most important thing for me was always sales. So if I had a client, or if I had to deliver a product, that was the most important thing. Now, the client doesn't know in the background that you've had problems in, you know, receiving stock from China. You've had problems in someone's let you down, you know, whether you've got staff or someone's let you down as a supplier or whatever. So in the back end, you've got problems. So the customer's not going to know that you've got problems. So you have to navigate that. So the most important thing that I would say is that whatever the chosen date for delivery, that you have to deliver this outcome to the client, that is paramount, because whatever happens in the background, they don't have to know about it, because it's your integrity and it's your delivery for the next coming sale, that if you don't deliver this product or you don't deliver this service, they're not going to engage you. So the most important thing is to get that sale out. If you can't afford to cook that night or whatever, Uber Eats. Don't sweat on the small stuff. If you haven't cleaned your house, don't set on the small stuff. You know, your family, your own self comes number one, and your partner. So everything outside that falls apart. Don't sweat on the small stuff. Always make sure that you're in good health and good spirits, because if you're not positive and you can't cope with the day's pressures, you're not going to be able to achieve your business, the tasks in your business. If you have staff and they're causing you problems, get rid of them. Get rid of them, right? Sack them. There are people out there looking for jobs. People today don't want to work. If you're having problems with staff and that they're not coming to work or whatever, don't be this in business. There's no nice guy, guys. Remember, you are the business owner. You have liabilities, and it's your task to honor those liabilities to your creditors, to the bank, and to whoever else you owe money to. So, you know, you have to understand when you're in business, there are no friends in business. So if you've got staffing problems, my first business, I spent many years being a psychologist, dealing with 10 staff. That's why I decided in year 2, in my second business, there was no staff. It was just me and contractors. So don't employ staff, employ contractors if you have to, because at the end of the day, it's your well-being on the line. Because if we don't have well-being, we don't have anything. So that's very important.
Well,
so don't sweat more stuff.
Yep. Thanks, Mary. Now, look, we will get to questions very shortly, but what I would like you to just talk about briefly are your P's, your mantra, your P mantra. And people might want to write these P's down for many reasons. So we've got passion. Let's talk about passion.
Okay, well, to start anything, we need passion. Now, passion to me is not just passion that I love it, but passion to me is enthusiasm. If we're not enthusiastic about getting up every morning to see the outcome of the day, and really these apply for not only business, for myself. I mean, I have this is me in my life, right? So I don't define, you know, business skills and life skills. To me, it's all part of the same, you know. So passion is drive. Passion is enthusiasm, that you're excited to get up every day to do what you have to do, whether it's going for a walk, get up and get exercise, get fit, get into the office, do your job, get your business started. That's passion, enthusiasm, right? The next P, people. We need people in our business to support us. We need people, we need clients. So we need to connect with people. We need to build relationships. We need to have support in those with people, your husband, your partner, your family, your mum and dad, whoever people represent. We need bookkeepers. We need our suppliers, people. Who are those people? Are they overseas suppliers? Do they share the same values as you? You build rapport. We need the people to build rapport, build relationships, find our value systems that align with other people that we work with. You know, do not work with people that don't support what you do. Do not work with people who are negative and say, oh, you can't do that. Oh, look where you come from. You can't do that. Don't be stupid. Don't listen to those guys, right? Align yourself with people who believe in what you do. My husband thinks I'm crazy doing what I'm doing, but I'm not even listening to him, right? I don't even tell him what I'm doing. That's how, you know, I've got it myself, guys, right? So don't listen to people that are going to burst your bubble, but you have to be real about what you're doing. Perseverance, okay. Perseverance and proactive, in my opinion, are the hardest P's, because over 30 years of running my own show, if I never had perseverance, stamina, resilience and determination, I would have quit after 10 years, right? I would have quit, but I didn't. So I wrote those P's after being in business after 30 years, because it takes guts and resilience to keep going and slogging it to make this thing work. So perseverance is keep going. You might have problems at home. You keep going. Someone might stuff you around. One of the suppliers, you can't get the product. One of the staff hasn't turned up. You keep going. These are stories you'll hear from every success business owner. It's not unlike anybody you speak to. You just got to keep going. I remember I had young babies and I had to fix a problem. I was up to midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, get up the next day, breastfeed and do whatever I had to do to get back to the office, you know. I mean, these are all challenges, guys, and you need to really have a thick skin if you want this to work. Now, proactive is another important tool. Proactive to me is about spend money to win. You know, we're in business, it's changing all the time. You've got to spend money to win. You've got to innovate to stay relevant. You've got to spend money. You've got to be innovative. You've got to show your customer that you are relevant and you are there. And that's part of building the brand and perception, right? So that's all part of that. So spend money to win. You've got problems, you can't handle the books, get a bookkeeper. You've got problems with social media, employ a couple of days a week or, you know, once a week, employ social media. You need to be proactive. Now, some of you don't have money. I get it, right? I didn't have money. I went and did a second job to provide for these. You guys can do the same. But, you know, it's because I'm determined to make this work, right? So everyone has choices. So spend money to win, think outside the box, troubleshoot. That's all proactive. And surround yourself with people that you can bounce ideas off that are going to give you positive feedback. Now, the last bit, the P, the profit. I call this perception, because when all these are in sync, when everything's in sync, guys, right? And I know because I've been for the 30-year journey. When they're in sync and you're in business year in, year in, year in, year out, and you're doing everything. You've got the passion, you've got the right people, you're connecting with people, you've got sales, you're out there pumping sales, you're talking to customers, you're doing this, you're researching, you're persevering, you've got proactive. What do you think's happening? You're building up a perception for the brand. All those 4 elements are ticking, and then the profit comes from that. So when the product is right, when the margins are right, when everything's right, profit comes in, year in, year out, because the longer you're in business, you're going to make profit. And what does profit do? It gives you lifestyle. So I was already paying myself. I was making for my family $200,000 a year, but I was also making profit after that. And what did I do with profit? I was putting it into more marketing strategies. I was putting it into superannuation. I put 30 grand into super to pop up our super fund for retirement. You know, well, I bought property or whatever it is. But if the longer you're in business, you can make money. But you've got to make sure all those things I talked about are all in sync.
What a perfect summary, Mary. So look, I think what we can do here is just mention those 4 P's again. So passion, people, perseverance, being proactive, and
profit.
Profit, or you've got here on the back of your book, positioning yourself. Now,
Yes.
You want to win a copy of Mary's book? It's not really about you. It's more of a workbook for people to actually think through all these things you've been talking about. It's really good read. So all you have to do is send me an email if you want to win. I've only got 1 copy. Sorry. Send me an email.
If you want to.
Well, there you go. But send me an email. It's I think $35 normally, and tell me, the first person who can tell me what the 5 P's are wins a copy of the book. So I will say them once more: passion, people, perseverance, being proactive, and profit. Good.
It's got to be in that order. It's got to be passion, then people, perseverance, proactive, and then the profits last.
Yeah,
I'll share with
you
you.
can't mix up the order.
No, you can't mix up the order, because you know what, Paul? In 2005, I was making lots of profit, but I lost the passion. So I didn't have a challenge anymore, so I couldn't get out. And that's when I started selling the bit. That's when I started thinking about, I've got to get out of here because it doesn't inspire me anymore.
What I want to do as well, because we have, oh, there you go. Hopefully this all works. I want to just put up Mary's contact details. Hopefully you can see that. So if you want to contact Mary,
Oh, geez, that's a bit better. It's a bit blurry in my end, but anyway,
oh,
that's okay.
yes, well, we do what we can. So there's
That's all right.
Mary. Mary Philippou, businessmentor.com. Phone number 0417352273. So look, Mary, from here, what's your what can you perhaps offer people?
Well, look, Paul, as I said to you, I'm happy to receive emails and answer any questions for any participants that have any questions at all. It'd be better on email because I have many hats on, and that way I can keep track of what people need help with, and then I can respond, and then I can sort of follow up as well, follow up on how they went with that problem and how they went solving it and stuff, and I might be able to give some other advice for them, Can't hear you.
We had a chat the other day about a bit of a program that you have.
Well, look, I've got a signature program that I have that's part of the book, but that's in my private coaching business. But yeah, look, whatever works for Sarina Russo, Paul, whatever works for your business. Like I said, I'm happy to receive emails, and I can then speak to participants, whatever works with your organisation that is quite above board that we don't,
Yep. Well, everything's changing as of the 1st of July, so watch this space. Now, can I hand back to maybe Francis, and Francis, if you want to moderate any questions, I'll hand it back to you.
Thanks, Paul.
No worries at all, Paul. Yeah, and then thank you so much for that, Mary. What we are going to do is turn off the video recording now so that we can protect the privacy of those asking the questions. So thank you so much once again for allowing us to record this.